Tonight on the candidates, let me see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe one's just with us there in front. We're limited, so we're going to give them 5 minutes each. Can you tell what you need to tell in 5 minutes? Got it? Someone's going to ask the question, so I said don't do so. In fact, a couple have mentioned to me they were going to ask a certain question, so I'm going to go ahead and ask it ahead of time. Now, if you want to ask some other question to that candidate, we'll have an open forum right at the end, and you can ask the question. But I'm going to ask it now, so you won't have to have them standing up asking the question. And it's a good question. I'd like to know, too, on the candidates, where you stand on same-sex marriage and where you stand on abortion demand. In other words, that's an issue which people are asking about. The reason it involves Christian principles. So, at least state where you stand tonight. You don't have to go into detail, but we'd like to hear it. And if you don't, somebody's going to stand up and ask you, so you should go ahead and get it over with. And that way they won't be on the floor. Thank you for being here. And they were busy. Thank you for taking your time to come and to give a little talk tonight. I don't know what order. I think we're going to start with our district attorney and candidates. We've got 2. Ms. Donna Gordon Casper, we're going to ask you first, and then Mr. James Ashworth, you'll be secondly. So, Ms. Casper, if you'll come, give her a hand, please. Thank you. I've known her a long time. I've known her dad a long, long time.
Been around a while. I want to thank you for inviting us here, giving us the opportunity to talk. As some of you know, I am Donna Gordon Casper. I'm your district attorney, and I'm running for re-election. I'll go ahead and answer the 2 questions right up front. I don't believe in abortion under any circumstances. And I do want to tell you a little quick story about gay marriage. When I was in law school, during family law, we had a question on the test, is same-sex marriage legal in Texas? And after everybody took the test, we went and had a little group session with the professor, and he went over the best answers he got to every question. And he got to that question, and he said, okay, is same-sex marriage legal in Texas? And the best answer he got was, not on your life, Pilgrim. No, that's a bad invitation, but you get it. And that's where I stand on that as well. As you know, in November we're approaching a very important election because we all have the opportunity to decide who's going to run the government. What kind of government are we going to have? And that's nationally as well as locally. Now, as far as my race goes, you have to decide what kind of prosecution do you want. And I would suggest that the best kind of prosecution is the one with the most experience. Now, my experience started in Nacogdoches. For 2.5 years, I was an assistant district attorney in Nacogdoches, Texas, doing nothing but felony cases. I moved back here, spent 13.5 years as your county attorney, handling adult misdemeanor criminal cases and juveniles, both felonies and misdemeanors. And I've been your district attorney now for nearly 4 years, handling all felony cases. So I have successfully prosecuted everything from traffic tickets to murder over the last almost 20 years. And that's the kind of experience you need in a prosecutor. But you also need other kinds of experience as well. You need experience in a community. I grew up here in Houston County, graduated from high school here, came back here in 1995. And so I know many of the people here. I know a lot of the criminals here. And I think it's important for a successful prosecution to know those things. And now in Nacogdoches, I found it very easy to prosecute cases because I didn't know those people. Hand me a file, I prosecuted, doesn't matter who it is. But when I came back here, I found out that a more successful prosecution happens if you know the parties involved. You got to know the defendants, you got to know the witnesses that are involved, you got to know the potential jurors you have. For the defendants, are they a bad person? Or are they a good person that did something bad? If they're committing crimes within a group, are they the leader of that group? or are they the follower? Because the answer to that question helps you determine how you're going to proceed in a prosecution of that kind of case. So you need to know those things. As far as witnesses go, you want to know if they're credible or not. If you don't know those folks, you may not know. And you sort of put them up there and vouch for their credibility when you have them testify. As for jurors, you want to know if they kind of lean towards the state or kind of lean towards the defense in order to get a successful prosecution. So I have both the prosecutorial experience and the experience here in the community to do this job. And because of that, I have done a very good job. And that's what it takes to do it. Now, when I took over, I had approximately 240 cases, indicted pending cases, on the docket. Since I took over, I have filed 854 cases. And on the docket right now, I have approximately 100 cases pending. So I took care of the 240, and I took care of 754 of the ones I filed. And 100 pending cases are right around where we ought to be. So I've gotten it down to where we need to be. But apart from the pending cases I had that were indicted, I also took office with a 4-drawer cabinet chock full of cases waiting to be indicted. And that's where that 854 number came from. So we worked our way through that, and now we've got about 40 files in the pending cases waiting to go to grand jury. So what you see now is cases that get indicted in about 3 months from the time the offense occurs, and not a year and a half from the time the offense occurs. And that's a successful prosecution. You know, I have that experience. I've gotten the job done. You know, Clint Eastwood said the other day, when someone doesn't get the job done, you need to let them go. And I think 4 years ago, we did that with Mr. Cervantes. We let him go. And I think we reiterated that in the primary this year. Now, my opponent has done really nothing here in Houston County other than to help David Cervantes not do this job very well. And that is why I'm asking for your support in the upcoming election. Thank you very much.